it's Todd Ault. It's episode 45. This is Risk On. It's April 6th. I'm in Costa Rica, Los Sueños, Costa Rica, out here. This is actually not a fake background. It's a real background. I've been trading in the market for over 32 years, and I decided to take my family on a vacation. But Jason, I want to do the show directly. Jason, how are you, buddy? It's April 6th. We're at the 45th episode. What do you think?
I think we're chugging right along here. It's great that we didn't have a break in the action. I'm glad that you were able to do this. It looks beautiful there.
Hey, yeah, tomorrow, Jason, just a heads up, we're going to do the show a little later. We're going to do it at 3:30 Pacific time. Now, all the audience that's watching now, I hope you can tune in. We're going to be a little later because of travel schedules, etc. But we want to bring the show to you every day. And don't forget, on Monday, April 12th, Skyla will be joining us on the show, and she will be a on-air guest, like kind of a permanent on-air guest, where our assistant producer will be on screen and be able to comment. We like to get the young perspective there, as Skyla is very young, but working hard to move up the ladder. Jason, what's up with the market today?
The market finished down a little bit today. Nothing too dramatic. The Dow was down 96 points, 33,430. The NASDAQ was off 7, and the S&P was down 4. Looks like gold and silver continued its mini run here. Gold $17.44, good for $15 an ounce gain. Silver $25.19, up 41 cents. Copper $4.11. Ethereum is still running hot, 21.20. Bitcoin 58,315, and oil is 59.39 a barrel, down 74 cents.
Jason, do you think there's a separation with Ethereum and Bitcoin? I see it. It's not super dramatic, but it starts to look a little like there may be some separation.
Let's look at the divided by 20. Let's see what we got for the ratio. 58,315 divided by 2120. 27.5 to 1. You know, it's been around 30 to 1. We talked about this yesterday. Yeah, it looks that way.
For sure.
Yeah. Keep an eye on it.
For sure. Yeah, there seems to be some separation there. And I wonder, we had someone ask about that yesterday, about the NFT and the gassing that's taking place there, the purchasing of the gas, and maybe the validation of that sort of business model for transactional purposes, those Ethereum contracts may be paying off and getting Ethereum an underlying bid that maybe it's outperforming Bitcoin just a little bit.
It's a good point. I really like that. It'd be really cool if Ethereum would be, if we were able to do some stuff with, I can't get into that. Anyhow, let's just keep an eye on it. I wanted to go over some full disclosure, Jason, in the marketplace, and that is, I continue to add to Credit Suisse. And Jason, I don't know if you have any info on the fact that the investment banking chief and some of those people resigned, obviously, over the scandal with the, I never say it right, the Bill Wang hedge fund that has created a debacle in Viacom and Discover, et cetera. So people may be wondering, and I'm trying to give them a risk-on perspective. You have a pretty big pull down on COVID for CS First Boston, for Credit Suisse, last year. And so that symbol CS, that thing fell to around 7 and some change. Then you see a rally about 100% off the bottom to around $14. This scandal hits it down to around below 11. And so, yeah, I'm a buyer. For full disclosure, I'm a big fan of being able to buy that investment bank and commercial bank, Credit Suisse, at a cheaper valuation. I know, Jason, you kind of disagree with me on timing, but I wonder if you had any thoughts on Credit Suisse. I just wanted, I like the play. I just want to wait till after the 22nd. They got a couple downgrades today. JP Morgan downgraded them today. B of A downgraded them today based on the Archegos losses. I want to see what else happens before earnings. And then, like you do, you take 1, 2, 3 as far as ABC positions. What I mean by that is you'll make your initial entry into a stock for an investment, and then you have a couple more bullets to add to the position based on what's going on. So, yeah, I'm fine with the entry.
Yeah, it's important to understand that Jason and I trade a little different. I'm building a position, so I'm going to build it over time. So let's say, by the way, this show is for entertainment purposes. It's not advice. We just tell you what we're doing with our money and with the company's money. And when we put the money to work, I put the money to work knowing that I'm going to want to have a few $1 million in Credit Suisse, and I have about 20,000 shares or so now at risk. I actually wrote some 11 calls 11 puts on the stock. So I'd be put to 11. I got 65 cents for those, and those are out 2 months. So I'm looking actually to kind of hedge myself into the position over time. Jason, what about some of the stocks we own now? I saw POW, POWW was up, continues to be strong relative to the small caps, and we're probably waiting for that gunbroker.com deal. I know we talk about it every day on this show, guys, but we tell you what we're trading. Jason, your thoughts on what we're long right now?
Yeah, actually, I like the action on ammo today. Brett, if you want to pull up that ticker, we have it here. Nice solid day today. It's actually up a couple cents after hours, 665 to close, 667 after hours. One of the things I've been seeing is the low volume, which tells me investors are just staying put. 2.5 million in volume today, 4 million volume average 3-monthly average daily volume. If you look at the daily, I guess you're not really, you can kind of see it here on the Google Finance chart. I'm going to start looking at the Webull chart. Eventually, we're just for the folks, we're going to start looking at some different charts. But I'm looking at the Webull chart here on the daily, and we've got 2 nice daily candles here, and it looks like there's a nice trend line up. We're above the, as far as the moving averages, we've regained the 5, we've regained the 10. We're well above the 200-day moving average. Of course, this was an IPO not that long ago. But, yeah, it looks really healthy. I love the position that you built here. So we're just going to continue to wait for the news on gunbroker.com and the value that could be added to the stock.
Yeah, for full disclosure, by the way, this is actually an OTC uplisting, not an IPO, but the same concept is that it did initially list on the NASDAQ. Jason, I know we're into our next segment now. You want to get started with that?
Wow, it's going that quickly, huh? Well, I want to make sure we cover all the stocks that we want to cover. You know, you and I didn't get to collaborate that much today. However, I was looking at our list of positions here, and one that I had queued up next was AUMN, Golden Minerals.
Well, let me say something, Jason.
Yeah.
Let me say something. I would have bet, and I am a betting man, I would have bet about 90% chance that you would have brought that up as your first stock.
Well, Powell kind of took that.
No. I brought POW up. You brought AUMN in, and we are long that. For full disclosure, we are long that. And I noticed it had a nice move today, and that's obviously tied to silver. What are your thoughts on AUMN? It is performing well for us right now.
Yeah, I like AUMN is, as you know, I set a target price of $1. Today it had just under 1 million shares traded. Its average daily volume is about 2.5 million. They are, you know, the thing that's not being incorporated into the value of the stock, I think, is the actual mining that they're doing. They haven't reported any earnings from the mines in Mexico yet. So we're looking for that in Q2. And then also the spot price of gold and silver is definitely trending up. Finally, we're getting some common sense here when it comes to the economic indicators regarding the crazy printing of fiat currency and the potential for inflation. It looks like some people are starting to become buyers in silver and gold, not necessarily the mining stocks, but the actual precious metal. But, of course, the mining stocks have an ancillary value because they're harvesting the metal out of the ground. So there's a good way to get exposure that way.
This has been the worry, and I want to remind everyone we're long the position. This is not a recommendation. Also, keep in mind, if you trade NASDAQ stocks, AUMN is on the New York American Stock Exchange, and they don't have the same $1 rule that the NASDAQ does. So you don't have the same delisting concerns. You know, when a stock is on the NASDAQ and it goes below $1, they're given a deficiency letter, and they're given usually about 6 months to fix that problem. And usually those companies have to reverse or do something to get their price up. And if they don't improve their price, then, of course, they are delisted. In the case of AUMN, they do not have that worry because they're on the New York American.
That's a good point. And I think there's an outside chance that this can make an all-time high within the next 3 months. That would be $1.30. So that's my bold take there.
And so I'm down in Costa Rica. When are you headed down to, was it Durango, Mexico, to see the mine?
Well, I would go down there, but I would have to be well armed. I don't know if I'll be able to go. Well, maybe I'll be able to cross the border. The border seems pretty porous these days. I might be able to slide back. You know, they're looking for people coming the other way. They might just let me slide down there north to south and won't even say anything.
Maybe you could immigrate into Mexico instead of out of Mexico. I'm sure they'd let you in down there, but I don't know if Mexico would would be too fond of you carrying a gun.
I don't know. Estoy trabajando en mi español. So I'm working on my Spanish. So yeah, maybe we'll be able to do something.
Hey, anything else we're looking at on the stock side that interests you?
Yeah, for sure. You ready for this next one?
I'm ready. What could it be?
Northern Dynasty Minerals. Here it is. Everybody knows about this one, I think. This one is very politically motivated. We have, this is probably the most political ticker that I've ever traded. Today it was up 5%. The reason we're bringing this up is, in my opinion, it has 10 to 20x upside. And it's all going to stem on the appeal process with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And the governor, Dunleavy of Alaska, is pushing hard. You can look at his social media. You can see what he's talking about, energy independence, mineral independence. This is a huge national security issue. Northern Dynasty Minerals, ticker NAK, could fulfill some of these rare earth mineral needs for the United States to maintain its sovereignty, its national security. They have a rare earth mineral called rhenium. It's used in the high temperature areas of turbine engines. It's very necessary for our military. And we also have a massive, massive copper position in Pebble Mine up in Alaska. And with the electrification and the move to green vehicles from this administration, they're put in a tough spot. They want to appease their voters because they want to save the salmon, but they also want to build electric vehicles, and that requires copper. So this is where we're at. We're risk on this one. And I think you started a position today, right?
I did, but let me be very clear with the audience. This is a very risky stock, and Jason and I don't see eye to eye on the risk. But he is correct in the sense that they have an incredible mine in Alaska. It is very political, but we're calculating a risk-reward ratio here. And I know people make foolish mistakes and they think, okay, I have 10,000 to invest and Jason and Todd like it, so let's put it in there. Do not do that.
No.
We have a fraction of our money in there.
Yes.
We'll probably end up owning 500,000 shares, which is a lot of money to most people, and it is to me too. But in the big scale of how large the portfolio is, it is a very small fraction. And Jason is betting on a big move. So if you're going to buy any, consult your financial professional and make sure that you take minimal risk here, because this is a high risk, high reward situation. Jason, if they don't get anything and it doesn't work, where's it go?
If they don't get the appeal approval, then the next step will be the governor of Alaska. This is just my opinion, but I think there will be a lawsuit. I think the state is demanding that they get compensated for the minerals, for the elements in the ground via the federal government. So there's going to be an ongoing legal battle, but it would just be easier if they approve the appeal. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers initially came out and said that there would be no further damage to the salmon and the tailings of the mine. They're not even using any like chemicals, arsenic, or anything like that. So Pebble Mine and Bristol Bay separate about 100 miles. The plan was initially approved by the Army Corps of Engineers. And then all of a sudden, when the draft was approved, and then the final plan came out and they denied it. So I think it was mostly a political reason. We're going to see what happens. There's going to be an appeal process. We'll have a decision in the next 30 days, and then we'll go from there. But the thing is, we have a lot of people up in Alaska that need good paying jobs. And currently, the salmon industry is very seasonal. It often has people that come from out of the state to go there and harvest the salmon. The jobs aren't that well paying. So we're going to see what happens here. It's a very split decision, and we're taking risk on with this stock. Like Todd said, I wouldn't put more than 0.5%, 1% of your portfolio. This is just my opinion. Don't take my advice, anything like that. This is just our personal thoughts and what we do.
Jason, where do you think the stock goes in the event that it doesn't win, it doesn't get a sign off here? What happens there?
If it doesn't get a sign off, it'll go through lawsuits, I believe. It'll probably drop to 30 cents.
Right, which is the 52-week high, right?
Right. But the thing is,
52-week low. I mean, sorry.
You've got to realize that right now there's a by all calculations, I've done my homework, there's nearly $1 trillion of precious metals and rare earth minerals in the ground in Pebble Mine. That's absurd.
Got it.
Yeah.
So obviously we're making a bet here.
Yeah.
Katie, and it's a political bet too, because you're betting that somehow we can get people to go along with this. This is kind of an uphill battle. But listen, we made the play. We're going to live with it one way or the other, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like the risk reward.
Yeah, for sure. So Jason, what else we want to talk about today? I see we're going to go into the next segment. Do you have any political stuff you want to cover today?
I don't have the time clock here. I wish I did. Oh, there it is here. Sorry. Yeah, we got 40 minutes left here. Well, there's some more stocks that we want to talk about. Mudrick Capital Acquisition Corp. That's a SPAC, MUDS. I have that on the screen. They're looking to take Topps sports cards.
Let me talk about this real quick. Those of you who've been buying Topps since I was a kid, born in 1969, I've had Topps baseball cards my whole life. And Topps was public before. It went private, and now it's going public again in a SPAC. Jason, do you have the deal terms ahead of you? By the way, for full disclosure, we bought some of this SPAC today.
Yeah, we did buy it. Some of the terms, it looks like they're, Mudrick Capital, Michael Eisner, the chairman, he's actually going to stay. It looks like the deal that values the combined company at $1.3 billion. The deal is expected to generate proceeds of up to $571 million of cash. Topps an 80-year-old company, trading cards, novelty confections. There's also some speculation about the NFTs, which is an interesting angle.
That is the angle here, right? It's an potentially NFT play.
Absolutely, that's the upside. So, Todd, I think that's, that you could make a case saying maybe that's why they're going public again.
Well, they're obviously now Michael Eisner. That's the same Michael Eisner who was the chairman of Disney and CEO.
Yes. So
that ought to interest people.
Yeah, it's very interesting. In fact, Investor Place 4 hours ago, they came out with an article about the merger and the NFT optimism. I didn't get to look at that, but that's something I'm going to look at. So right. We made an entry position on that today, I'm assuming.
We did. We bought 10,000 shares of that stock about, I think, 11.36.
Okay. I like that. That's awesome. And, being sports fans, it's just kind of a icing on the cake. So it's always cool, man. I used to collect cards. So did you. It's just a fun thing to do.
A lot of NFT opportunities there. They have a historical amount of cards, and I think that's a new space for them. So you could ultimately see that be a space for them.
Yeah, I mean, NFT rookie cards, Michael Jordan. I mean, who knows? Tom Brady. It's
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna step aside for 1 minute, okay, guys?
Yeah, no problem. And while he steps aside, I just wanted to look at another interesting ticker here. Nick, pull this one up. This one's another iconic brand. All right, here we go. PLBY, Playboy Group. Everybody knows Playboy. Some of the parents of you watching, some people have seen Playboy around the house by accident. Maybe they discovered him in somebody's closet. Who knows what's going on with that? Everybody has stories of the old Playboy magazines. They're collector's items. There's nothing to be ashamed about. However, the another thing not to be ashamed about is the actual position in the stock market, ticker PLBY. If you look at the recent run-up on the 5-day, going back into late March, this was a $15.86 stock. And look what it's almost doubled now. This is another.
Jason, when did it go public again? I tell you that I'm completely out of the loop. When I was looking at the stock in the late 90s, 2000, they had Playboy.com online, and we always thought that the business was worth more than it was trading for. It ultimately went private. I think they bought the mansion, etc. Do you know the story behind it? Because I didn't know it was public again.
I think it went public. Well, it was public in 97. I don't know the entire backstory about it, but then did it delist? Yeah, I have to look. I'm not for sure on that. I don't want to give people the wrong information.
We should research that. One thing I'll tell you about when you look at accounting, guys, when you look at how accounting is done, and thank you so much for bringing me. Thanks, Victor. Thank you. I'm okay. when you look about how accounting's done, one of the fascinating things about Playboy was, and what we were attracted to with, is it had a lot of assets on the balance sheet at their original cost, including the mansion and including a bunch of paintings and artwork, etc. And so sometimes when you look at a stock and it has a long history and you look at its asset base, sometimes they keep the asset base on the books for the actual original cost, and you have to do the work to figure out whether there's substantially more value if the company was sold off or the pieces of the assets were sold off. And Playboy brings back a lot of memories of value that was created by Hugh Hefner and his team. His daughter, Christina Hefner, ran the company for many years, but they never were able to monetize the brand. They really did what I consider to be a piss poor job of managing an incredible, iconic brand. They did get some licensing deals, but they never, ever spun off Playboy.com. They never really leveraged the balance sheet the way they could have and really executed on a licensing deal.
They came out with news, though. They have a partnership for the looks like they have a partnership with Nifty Gateway, the Gemini-owned all-in-one platform that makes it easy to buy, sell, and store digital art and collectibles. Well, Gemini also has a cryptocurrency platform. They announced a partnership today to create a series of Playboy Nifty art, digital art collaborations on Nifty Gateway's blockchain marketplace. That's pretty big.
Well, that is big, and maybe new leadership there is actually showing some leadership and trying to make things happen. But they were always a poor performer. Sometimes you gather amazing amounts of assets, and if you don't use them properly, the market doesn't reward you for them. And they were not rewarded for lots of years. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as an NFT play. That's definitely one that probably makes sense, especially a lot of historical interviews, a lot of historical pictures. Really was an eclectic magazine for its time.
Yeah, and also it's actually running after hours. It's got a reasonable float. It's being traded quite pretty good volume. Average volume 3-month average volume 700,000 shares today, 7 million, 10x on the volume. It's 31.50 after hours. It closed at 29.70.
Let's be clear, we don't have a position in the company.
No, we don't.
Own no stock in the company, etc. Right?
But like you said, they're working on their three focus areas are the Playboy's vast art and photography archive, an ongoing effort to incubate and commission new artists, and then it looks like they have the curation of sales of Playboy's iconic art collection in NFT form. So it looks like they're going to execute on this plan. This looks very interesting.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, obviously, he was a big collector of Leroy Neiman and a big collector of Nagel and big artwork that Nagel produced. So that could be an interesting conversation about what he's doing there, what they're doing there. Obviously, Hugh Hefner's gone. I don't know who runs the company, but it's something we should definitely look into.
We got 3 more minutes in this segment. I wanted to cover one more ticker here. It's EBON. It's eBank International Holdings. It fell victim to Hindenburg's short thesis today. It plunged pretty good. It looks like it's recovering a little bit after hours. Nick, if you want to pull that up, please. EBON ticker 553 down 12.91% today. It's up about 3.25% in the after hours. Todd, this reminds me of a similar situation with ticker SOS. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. We're long SOS, rather, by the way, right now, as you know.
Yeah. So it looks like Hindenburg's claims eBank, ticker EBON, does build ASICs miners for digital cryptocurrency mining. However, they had only sold about 20,000 miners in the year 2020, which I guess is far short of what they were proclaiming. Also, I didn't read
Hey, Jason, let him know I'd like to buy some miners.
Yeah, for sure. If Crypto Joe's watching, get a hold.
Joe, if they only sold 20,000 miners, come on, let's go get some.
They make their own. They make their own chips too. So yeah, maybe I'll reach out to them. Maybe we can buy some from them for sure. Because right now it's hard to get miners.
Oh, I know it is.
So I just wanted to cover that one. It's tied to Bitcoin. So, but it was
Hindenburg. It's an interesting proposition for them. They really did, quote, blow up Nikola.
Mm-hmm.
Nikola, and there's a reason for the service, right? There's for sure a reason.
Yeah.
And what they do. But I think that they're obviously always short when they write up a name. They move the stock pretty quickly when they write them up. It's a very interesting prospect of what Hindenburg does.
It's true, but if you look, and they did this to RIOT back around $3 to $5. Hindenburg they get their slab of meat real quick, and then, but what happens usually, and what I've seen in all the stocks, is they recover nicely, and RIOT obviously is a monster now. We'll see what SOS does. Let's see what EBON does. Keep an eye on NKLA.
RIOT sure ultimately was right short term relative to what Hindenburg did. I think Hindenburg wrote about them about 70 points ago. Man, I'm just kidding around.
Yeah, seriously.
50 points ago, whatever it was, right?
Absolutely. So, but you know what?
I don't know how the audience feels, but I'd love to hear the audience comment, and maybe we'll cover this someday. Should short sellers be able to put out a thesis, being short, publish it, and then obviously prospect and make money off of their research that they publish? It's like almost like a demolition company saying, I don't know, I got to think about like how you're a lawyer who sues people who gets in car accidents and then you drive around and run them over. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'd love to get everyone else's perspective about people writing research and knowing they're short the stock.
Yeah. Like you said, though, it's like they build, they definitely have a short initiated, in my opinion. And then once there's a good environment for where they can drop their thesis, they do so, and they take advantage of panic sellers and a softness in the market depending on the sector. Yeah, no doubt they're good at it.
But I think that they actually disclose their position when they write the piece, so they're short. But we'll have to look into that also.
Yeah, definitely have to look into that. Do you have anything else for stocks? I mean, we could talk for hours about stocks. I mean, do you have anything pressing that you want to talk about?
I don't have anything pressing that I'm really overly interested in. As I am writing a lot of puts for things I want to buy in the whole, and so I'm doing some naked put writing. But what I am is naked is I want to own the stock. So let me walk you through that, and that is where you'll write a put on, say, a stock is $20. You'll write the 17.5 puts. You'll get $1 premium to hold it for 2 months. So you sell someone the right to put it to you at 17.5, and you got $1 for that. So if they end up putting it to you at 17.5, and you got that $1, you actually bought it for 16.5 because you got to keep the premium. I've been doing that. I covered the 200 calls for GameStop. I covered the 250s. And I wrote some short-term 200 calls on GameStop, thinking that obviously with the ATM, this is not going to be a lot of movement in this. I don't own a lot of calls that I've shorted. I've sold a few. I'm very cautious, obviously, because GameStop could run at any time. But I'm looking for GameStop to roll over. Listen, does getting $1 billion help them a lot? Sure does. But I think with somewhat at that point close to a $14 billion valuation, and the people in Wall Street Best possibly running out of gas in terms of their concern for GameStop, I think this story is about to play itself out. So listen, I don't think that's a bold call. I think anyone can say that until they prove themselves, this ATM and what they've done and their run kind of played itself out for a while. I don't know how you feel, Jason, but I'm writing calls against GameStop.
Hey, listen, the volume was, well, let's just look here. Let me just do something real quick. Let's see. Okay. I'm just looking at the volume and what they could have raised today. It's it's public information. They have the ATM. I'm just trying to calculate when this ATM will be finished. Today was 6 million in volume. The average 3-month volume is 44.75 million. It was in a channel today, finished at 184.50, down 1.31%. After hours 185. I think we're going to see that until the ATM's finished.
I even think after the ATM's finished that the story's played itself out a little bit. Yeah, could it go to 250? Could it go to 300? Yeah, but it's not the same off that launching pad down there at the low 15 range.
True. I mean, they could have raised possibly $100 million today in optimal conditions based on the information.
Sure.
So
sure.
Yeah. So that's 10 of those days, and we're donezo. It's over.
Yeah. So for full disclosure, I'm hedged out. I hedged out against the Nasdaq. I bought some S triple Qs, which are a triple position against the Nasdaq going down. So I'm kind of hedging myself out. I'm not a big fan of the market right now. I'm not a big fan of the liquidity and what we're seeing in terms of looks like a lack of concern for how much money we print. We'll have to see what the economic numbers look like in the next month and a half. But we're going to go into May, and that's always a challenging time. There's an analogy, sell in May, go away. We'll see what happens in May. Guys, I got to step aside for 1 second. Okay, take me off camera. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fine. Actually, you make a good point, and also there'll be a couple of key IPOs coming up. Don't forget, there'll be a direct IPO of Coinbase. So actually, Coinbase will be going IPO soon, like within the next 2 weeks, probably next week. And with that, there'll be a lot of enthusiasm, maybe some more capital, some money rotation into Coinbase. 50 billion evaluation. Who knows where this thing opens at? I mean, we've seen IPOs open up like Bumble, 2x from the IPO number. We'll see what happens. Todd,
Jason, when are we thinking that the Coinbase IPO takes place?
I'm hearing that it takes place next week. I can't confirm that, but I'm hearing that from a few sources here that are pretty good. So we'll see.
And that could be a catalyst for the top, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Could be a catalyst for the top and crypto. I mean, it's going to renew some excitement, but that's a big number, right?
Right.
We're talking about a $50 billion valuation, right?
That's massive.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. That'll be definitely some enthusiasm in the market. Maybe Bitcoin will hold 60,000. Maybe press forward. Maybe Ethereum will make a run at 2,500. Again, it's all speculation. We don't know. If we knew,
I'd love to see what the rotation looks like in terms of potential rotation in the market, where they're rotating to.
Right.
It just feels like to me that we're kind of consolidating in the crypto space. We're going to consolidate a little bit in the SPAC space. I actually think SPACs are still here, though. What people don't understand is SPACs represent a very simple way for the public to participate in the marketplace, and I don't think they're going away. I know that people want to throw their traditional, it's too heated. It's going to consolidate, in my opinion, and SPACs are here to say, don't forget, by the way, we're on the radio, 11:50 a.m., Patriot Network, Los Angeles and Orange County, 11:50 a.m., and on the iHeartRadio app with the Patriot Network every Sunday at 1 p.m. We replay our Friday episode. And then on Sundays, we actually produce the best of throughout the entire week of these shows. So you can get a good wrap-up on the Sunday show. I noticed there was like 60,000 views of our last Sunday episode. Congratulations to Josh, Skyla, and Tyler for their work on the Sunday wrap-up show. I know Tyler does most of the editing there. Josh, am I correct? Is that a Tyler product that he puts out?
That's right.
All right, great. Well, I just want to congratulate everyone for that. I see that's getting a lot of traction. The last time I looked, it was almost 60,000. Maybe it was either 50 or 60,000 views and growing. And so I wanted to bring everyone's attention to that Sunday episode. Seems to be pretty popular because you can get all the whole week wrapped into one. And so on Fridays, we're going to start doing a little bit of a coverage of what to expect for the following week. We're trying to round out the show. So you should see that on Fridays, which you'll be able to pick up on Sundays if you watch that Sunday episode. Jason, what do we got on the agenda next?
Well, I wanted to keep. We still want to talk about some economic stuff. It was brought to my attention today by a key team member in our business. An article from the Wall Street Journal. Nick, would you pull that up real quick? Thank you. Okay.
Hey guys, that's actually. Hey Jason.
Yeah.
Just for the record, that view out there is not a fake background. That is Costa Rica. This is Los Sueños. It's very beautiful out here. I got the privilege of coming down here. I'm at the Marriott Los Sueños. It's wonderful here.
That's really pretty, man. That's really nice.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah.
So let's look at China's creating its own digital currency, a first for a major economy. Cyber yuan stands to give Beijing power to track spending in real time, plus money that isn't linked to the dollar-dominated global financial system. This is pretty interesting. It looks like this goes against everything that cryptocurrency was built on, as far as being separate not trackable as far as decentralized. This is deceiving. It's a cryptocurrency, but it's the CCP that's creating it, and they'll be able to track every single piece of coin and dollar throughout the country, throughout the world. So I don't know.
Let me track my Satoshi Satoshi. How do I say it? Satoshi
Nakamoto.
Nakamoto.
Yeah.
Let me track him. I'm going to channel him into my brain, and he says to me, what is he saying about the new Chinese currency? Hold on 1 second. I almost got it. Hold on. Dead on arrival. Dead on arrival.
Yeah.
Dead on arrival. What Satoshi just told me was he said it's dead. That's not the purpose of a cryptocurrency.
No.
Ironically, with Bitcoin, you can see all the transactions that take place.
Yeah.
Wallet to wallet, and so you can actually track it pretty well. But the concept of a central government issuing a currency, I saw a great wrap up about this the other day that it was coming, and there'll be some excitement about it in the beginning because it's a government issued cryptocurrency. All I think you're going to do, China, is you're going to play into the hands of Bitcoin owners, and they're going to say more and more, see what they're doing. This is why we're on the right path. All you're doing is validating Bitcoin. If I were China, instead of creating my own cryptocurrency, I would have been buying Bitcoin, right? Make that your reserve coin and buy some of that, right?
Yeah.
Put that in your inventory and make sure you keep that as reserve. But I understand, they could print Chinese dollars, the yuan, and they could buy more Bitcoin. Instead, they want people to buy their cryptocurrency. Now, for ease of use and simplistic purposes, it may actually work. Maybe you're digitizing the yuan ultimately, but we're going to cover this story. This isn't the first time, and China's not going to issue a digital currency without there being a response from other governments. The U.S. is not going to sit around as crypto gets big. But right now we're talking about $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin, and until it gets a little larger, they don't have to take any action. But ultimately, this is kind of against the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, let's be clear. This is not decentralized. This right here, the cryptocurrency from the Chinese government, this is basically a way to keep it looks like China's version of digital currency controlled by its central bank, which will issue the new electronic money. This is just a way to track their dollars digitally, basically.
Right. So I'd heard some positives about it in the sense that, at least their government was adopting it, but, the attempts to make it illegal, the attempts to make it not usable, India is really dealing with this right now. This is a concern for India because they're talking about possibly outlawing Bitcoin.
Right.
I don't know if you can put that genie back in the bottle, man. I don't see it. Hey, Brett, how much time do we have left?
We got 17 minutes.
Wonderful. Lots of time left.
Yeah, they're just turning their legal tender into digital current, into code, basically. It is what it is.
Got it.
All right, let's
What's
see
next on the agenda, my friend?
Wow, I'm getting a text message from one of my buddies who's a professional sports bettor. He's got a $30,000 winner if the Tigers get a run right here. Sorry, this is just I get these text messages quite often. We talk back and forth.
Hey, we're going to talk about baseball, but we got walloped the last 2 days. We might hit a little bit, right?
Yeah, just short-term statistical noise. Not a big deal.
Yeah, listen. I want to make sure for people, all those out there, those people looking at Risk on Sports, we appreciate you. I appreciate the text messages, and I'm going to make sure some of you are in the loop on what we're doing before our subscription service starts. But keep in mind that this is a long game. It's 6 months. And like stocks, you have up and downs, and you have days where you make money, days where you lose money. The thing I'm trying to impress on people is don't press your bets. Stay focused on your bankroll. Jason's going to cover a lot of those topics on Risk on Sports, which starts next week, and I'm excited about this. I've done a lot of work with Jason, and consistency is going to be important. And if those of you who like to bet and have a side hustle, this should be a fun time for you.
And for those of you that are Padres fans, Fernando Tatis Jr., he left the game yesterday with a shoulder injury. He just signed the largest MLB contract recently, so that was kind of disheartening. But we're going to get into baseball. I've got about 5 minutes left that I wanted to cover a little bit of some current events, and then maybe 10 minutes into baseball. What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Let me cover a stock I want everyone to look at. Box. I am long the stock. I'm anticipating that. Listen, this is one of my plays where I'm long the stock, thinking it's going to get bought out. I don't think it ends up being a standalone company, and I am long BOX. I want to be clear with everyone on this call. I'm not recommending it, but I'm letting you know that I am long the stock. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. I believe BOX is ultimately going to sell Starboard, which has a position in the company, I believe, and has some board seats, is pushing for the sale of the company. Stock's around 24 and some change, and I think we're going to wake up one day with this stock being bought for something in the neighborhood of 25, call it 27 to 40, excuse me, let me get my bearing straight, 27 to $35. And so I'm long box. I want to let everyone know that. Everyone who's been following the show from a couple weeks ago knows that, and I think it's going to be bought. Hey, let me switch on something that would be fascinating for you, Jason. I don't know if you can see it up there.
I see it.
I'll try to. I don't know if I can zoom in on the. Hold on my screen. Hold on a second. It doesn't. I wish I could zoom in for you guys up there. You can see there's iguanas up there. If you can see that up on the roof.
Oh yeah.
There's iguanas all over here walking around, and this is a place where you eat some food here. And these guys come and chase us down for food. It's an interesting proposition. Anyways, I'll get back to the regular. I'm sure Josh is mortified that I'm going off camera.
We had a ton of those in Florida. Man, it would get so cold in Florida sometimes they would fall out of the trees. It's a true story.
Really?
Yeah, they would freeze. They would go into a sedentary, like a bear kind of. And once it got below like 38 degrees, they would just basically hibernate. And they would be in trees, and they would literally fall out of the trees.
Hey, speaking of hibernation, don't forget tomorrow our show starts at 3:30 Pacific time, and that is 6:30 Eastern time. I want to make sure everybody knows the show starts tomorrow at 3:30. And I apologize, but due to some scheduling issues, we have to start the show a little bit later. But that's the power of YouTube. You can rewatch it anytime you want that night. But we will be doing the show live tomorrow at 3:30 Pacific time, 6:30 Eastern time. Now back to your regular scheduled programming.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out a couple of things. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he signed executive order banning any kind of vaccine passports or attempts to have a vaccine passport. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida did the same thing. That's about, if I had to guess, about 52 million Americans that won't have to deal with that if they live in Texas or Florida. So yeah, that's almost 20% of the country. It looks like a few other states are going to be doing that as well. That's interesting. It looks like the House member Jason Smith, Republican out of Missouri, the ranking member of the House Budget Committee, he says the Dems are jamming partisan agenda through despite Biden's talks about unity. This is quite interesting because I guess Schumer and the Dems in the Senate announced that they had a parliamentarian change where they could revise the budget resolution, and that could contain budget reconciliation instructions that would allow them to pass the infrastructure bill with a simple majority vote instead of the standard 60 votes. So that's quite interesting.
Hey, Jason, what happened to the Congresswoman, I believe, from Florida? She passed away. She was 84 years old. And how does that affect the House?
Oh, I didn't hear about that. Is that right?
Yeah, she died, I believe, last night. And I saw that. And maybe you can look that up real quickly, because I think, right, with a Republican governor, right, in Florida, that would be a pickup in terms of a House seat for the Republicans, would it not be?
Yeah, she was a Democrat. Well, R.I.P. to her. Wow, I didn't see this. I'm not seeing this.
It's a rare miss by you, by the way.
Alcee Hastings dies at 84.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I know who that is. Okay, yeah.
Isn't she a member of the House, or am I wrong? Was she not a member anymore?
No, it's actually a gentleman.
Oh, then I'm wrong. Shame on me.
Yeah, Alcee Hastings is a gentleman. He is a guy. He's from. I'm trying to see what district he's from. It's a unique name. It could have gone either way, like Pat. You know. Anyway,
Some people should say that I should be called Pat. Can't tell whether I'm a guy or a girl, but with that beard, it's pretty evident.
Hey, speaking of Pat, so anyway, yeah, the Republicans could pick up a seat in the House of Representatives from Florida. But speaking of Pat, well, not Pat, but the person formerly known as Bruce Jenner is thinking about running for California governor. Caitlyn Jenner is launching a committee to explore a possible run for the governor of California. What do you think about that?
Oh, wow. Well, you caught me stumped there.
Yeah. She would be running. She would be running as a Republican.
Let me see if I can transition to that. I have to think about that.
That's smooth transition.
She could get my transitional support.
I think I could definitely get behind that. Oh, wait. Hold on a minute here. Hold on.
Careful.
Anyway.
Careful, dude.
So
careful.
So anyway.
Wait,
yeah.
I got our producer. Oh, Roland likes the beard. I said I got our producer. I thought he was about to tell me to get off the subject for a second.
It's just a political statement. That's all. She wants to run for governor. She's a citizen. Let her run.
I would agree with that. Hey, in the aftermarket, POWW 673, SSY 284, AEZS 111, CLBS 179, MOSY MOSY 398. I know everyone knows we're long this KIQ 103, NBOS 357, CleanSpark 2261, and that NAK, the one we just talked about earlier, 6725. Now, that was upgraded today by AC Wainwright, correct?
Yeah, it looks like a $1. Let me see. $1.10. Yep.
Nice.
Maintain buy.
We got about 8 minutes left, and I want to cover some baseball and some things you want to cover. I'm really excited, everybody, about Risk on Sports. Don't forget tomorrow at 3:30, we're going to be on at Pacific time, and this Sunday on KEIB 1150 AM, Los Angeles, Orange County, and the iHeartRadio app, Patriot Network, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Jason, with 8 minutes left, what are we covering next, buddy?
Oh, real quick, how many shares did you get of NAC? And then I'll start baseball.
Let me check here.
Don't disappoint me.
15,000 so far.
Okay, that's better than zero. All right, let's move to MLB, Major League Baseball.
You can't get everything you want, right?
No, that's what is that? The Rolling Stones or something like that? Wow. Okay, I'm looking at the scores here. Hey, Nick, just show the screen real quick. So there's 3 games going on right now. Twins Tigers tied 3-3. If the Tigers score a run, my buddy wins $30,000. No big deal. Braves Nationals 4-4. And the Astros Angels 2-2. Man, the Angels are good this year. We did not bet on any of these games. I didn't do any research on them. However, we will be looking at some games for this evening. Yesterday, like Todd said, we got destroyed. Well, I mean, not really destroyed, but let me tell you, for those of the listeners that are paying attention that like sports and like to possibly look at maybe doing a side hustle for some added income, Major League Baseball has 162 games in the schedule, approximately 6 months. And what we're doing here at Risk on Sports, as part of the Risk on network, if you will, is we're going to be betting on baseball. In fact, we're currently 14 wins, 13 losses, 5 days into the season. And that's good for a $590 profit. We started with a $1,200 bankroll. I had 12 single Benjamin bills in my front pocket, and I said, hey, let's go ahead and start wagering on baseball. So yesterday we did go 1 win, 3 losses, and we lost the Yankees and Mets games as a parlay. We lost the Red Sox and Rays under bet late in the game, disappointing. We also lost the Tigers and Twins game, where the Tigers were the underdog. And the one victory we had was the Chicago Cubs. They pulled it out against the Brewers. So yesterday we lost $310 total, but we are still up $590 on this short year, almost a 50% return on our initial investment. So that's where we are with baseball.
We're a long ways done. We're up 50% from our $1,200 bankroll. We're going to continue to add to that. It was nice when we were up $1,100. We were up almost 90%. But
Yeah.
I suspect we're going to roar with possibilities here on baseball betting. I always bet on the team that begins in A. So my philosophy is any team that starts with A, you should just bet on them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a winning. I think that's a winning
strategy.
formula. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
So it looks like we'll be able to keep everyone updated on the scores and the results up until April 12th when we start our own Risk On Sports show that will be separate from our Risk On Daily show. All right, let's see here. We got about 4 minutes left, Todd. Did you want to talk about anything else in particular? Are you frozen?
It's true. It's just an expansion of the network, obviously. Can you hear me okay, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go back to where you were.
Where were you? Yeah. It looks like we've lost Todd. We've got about 4 minutes left. He'll get back in here if if he regains his signal there down in Costa Rica. A couple things about the philosophy for betting baseball, and you can do some research about this yourselves, but with baseball, there are oftentimes a lot of favorites in the game. Like, for example, when one of the team's best pitchers pitches, like tonight, for example, when the Baltimore Orioles travel to the Bronx and take on the New York Yankees, the Baltimore Orioles will be facing a buzzsaw monster pitcher by the name of Garrett Cole. And he is an absolute beast. And what happens is when the odds makers come out, they will favor a guy like Garrett Cole and the Yankees offensive machine by about 3-1. So what happens if the Yankees are favored, they're minus 300 to win the game, you would literally have to bet $300 to win just $100 if you were going to take the Yankees. You bet, Todd, you back? So my philosophy is I like to look at the underdogs.
That's the danger.
It's okay. You made it through just almost the whole thing. I was just talking about how we like to look at the underdogs in baseball and how you find value. It's similar to the stock market where you find undervalued assets at, where there's inefficiencies in the marketplace. It's the same thing with sports betting. So I was just covering a little bit of that.
I think Jason, I think one of your talents in the undervalued section, the EV getting extra value is, and I've seen this with poker with you, is these extra plays. And I think that the people who like parlays, which is kind of a small bet for a big payoff, that's going to be something that I'm really liking to track your results, because you can lose a bunch of parlays and only win a few and really make money, right?
Yeah.
Those extra parlays, the ones where you find like you feel like you have an edge, those edge trades that you get where we think we have an edge, those are really important. And that'll be a big part of what happens. Don't forget, by the way, everyone, as we build out this network of Risk On, as we talk about sports betting and the stock market and other things that have risk involved with them, things that I've done my whole life, we're doing this all so we can provide you what we're doing. You can come along with us, but you have no obligation to come along with us.
Right.
This is for entertainment purposes. And even if you want to just be entertained with sports betting, or you want to be entertained with cars or opportunities to be part of something, especially Risk On. Risk On, we've moved to Vegas so that we can invite a lot of people we know to participate in events. There'll be corporate events, all kinds of events in the Risk On community that we're going to be coming along with as we build out our team and our ability to build out that network. And we appreciate all of your time. You guys stick with us. This is the 45th episode of Risk On. It's April 6th. I'm in Costa Rica. Jason Bartholomew is back in Las Vegas at our headquarters. We have a new studio coming online soon. Josh, when do we know if the new studio is going to be ready?
That is a great question. And we'll have to consult with Crypto Joe a little bit.
Oh,
yeah, we need to get a countdown on that for sure. What are you saying, Jason?
Oh, what I was saying is bottom of the 10th, Detroit Tigers base hit, $30,000 to the good guy. So, yes, congratulations to my buddy. He scores.
Hey, he made up for yesterday, 30,000. Good for him. Hey, for those of you out there all over the world on EIB,
He's got it.
1150, the people who watch us on the Patriot Network, on iHeartRadio, on YouTube, soon to be Instagram also. We appreciate your time. It's April 6th is the 45th episode. I'm Todd Ault signing off from Costa Rica. We appreciate your time. Love you guys. Jason, take care. Everybody back at the studio. Be well. We'll see you tomorrow.